Welcome to the Triple P podcast, Preds, Pucks, Pinoys, hosted by Justin Bradford and Matt Best.
Hello and welcome to Triple P, Preds, Pucks, Pinoys. Justin Bradford, Matt Best, and Matt, I need to start off with a little story.
Ooh, story time already. Okay.
Trigger warning for bodily functions.
You shit yourself, didn't you?
Close. That's
Okay.
wow. It's like we have this ESPN thing going on. So for those of you that know, which should be all of you, because I hope you listen to both things, Penalty Box Radio Live was on Wednesday night with me and Glenn, and it is entering the last segment. So we are like 1 minute away from the last segment beginning, and my stomach all of a sudden starts rumbling. I'm like, uh-oh, I know that feeling. To the point where it is like, sound like a whale. I'm like, oh no. Then all of a sudden I hear 30 seconds. I'm like, oh no. And this is a segment where we do a lot of talking because always the Q&A. So we read our questions off of Twitter and we spend all the time talking instead of having a guest where it's like, ask a question and get an answer. And you only talk for a very minimal time. No, this is all talking. So there's pressure when you have to lean up on the mic and everything. We come back and all of a sudden Glenn is answering a question. And my stomach is just
like audibly.
I'm like, oh no. And it's that in your stomach where it starts to tighten up, where it's like, dude, you need to get me to the toilet fast.
The gates are about to open.
Yeah, it's happening, man. And I don't know what the deal is. I had Zaxby's for dinner. Zaxby's is a chicken place for those of you that aren't familiar with it. And
thank you.
I tried their new sauce, which was garlic buffalo. I'm gonna blame it on the sauce. Where's the cheese? It's under the sauce. But that's what I'm gonna blame it on. And so we finish up on time. We're out at the right moment, and Glenn's like, "Well, I'm so excited for you." For those of you that don't know, I'm getting married this weekend. And she's like, well, this is my last time I'm gonna see you as unmarried Justin, and like comes in and give me a hug. And so like I give her a hug. I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom, so I won't be able to come down the stairs with you to walk out to our cars. And she's like, oh, okay, that's fine. I don't know if she knew or not, but again, I'm like, oh god. So I finally get in there, and it's one of those whoosh,
like one go, just we're done.
Yes. And just
dirty bitch.
And I was just like, well, I feel better. And like, what the hell was that all about? Like, it was just one of the words came out of nowhere. I'm going, can you imagine if I was in a place that didn't have access to a toilet?
Could you imagine if you were playing a hockey game?
I would have Luongo'd it.
Like, you can't get out of all those clothes that quick.
Right.
That's it.
Speaking of Roberto Luongo. Speaking of Roberto Luongo.
Oh, he was at the suite next door.
Roberto Luongo was in the suite right next to Kodak Black for the Panthers game. Mr. Best, because I've done all the talking, your immediate reaction when you saw the first video come out.
I need another angle. That was it. I saw the first one. I was like, there's no way. I was like, you've heard of people doing it at sporting events before, but like in the
especially
bathroom.
Concerts when it's dark.
Yes. That sounds like you have...
I know stories.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to give me a story of you. I was like, oh,
no.
boy.
No.
That was just very specific for you to nail on.
No, it's just because I know specific stories because I've seen some shit.
Yeah, well, I've like heard of it in like stairwells at certain places, but never like in a suite out in the open. Or if it's in a suite, it's at the part of the suite where no one can see.
Right.
But I saw this, I was like, there's no way he's doing that at the game. Turns out he was dancing. And let me tell you, his dancing and me doing the deed look pretty similar.
Well, she also had her skirt hiked up, which didn't help.
Dancing.
Yeah, dancing. From the other angle. We saw the other angle.
Good thing we didn't see the dangle, but it was dancing.
Yeah, it was dancing.
It's funny. Honest to God, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, that makes me sound like a deviant. I mean, like, I don't have a problem with the whole story because no one got hurt and it's hilarious.
My only concern is if there were children that were within sight.
Okay, that too. Yes, that's inappropriate dancing. Like if a kid turned around, looked up at the box, and was like, "What dat?" then yeah, there's a problem.
Or like, what's Kodak Black doing? How do you know who Kodak Black is?
That should be the first problem. Like, if you're an 8-year-old and it's like, I love Kodak Black, it's like, probably shouldn't.
But I was pretty proud of my quote tweet.
Yeah, you're disgusting.
Oh, me?
Yes! What was your quote tweet? Let me pull it up. Hold on. Justin B. Bradford. All right.
I was very proud of it.
Yeah.
And I even searched the quote tweets to make sure I wasn't ripping off somebody else accidentally.
Isn't that the worst?
It is, especially when you don't mean to do it.
Pretty upsetting when that happens. Intent to blow, though. Let me read some of the replies. Dear God, Justin, this is a family website. Justin, no, crying emoji. Justin, please, skull and crossbones emoji. You win. Justin, triple exclamation mark. A gif of someone spitting out water. 2 minutes for high dicking. Genius.
So I had every reason to be proud.
You capitalized on it, I'll give you that.
I did.
That's pretty good.
I was waiting for the perfect moment, and people are so creative. But as soon as that one came out, I was like, okay, I got to get on this.
That one's good. That's... Jesus Christ. The best part was, like, throughout the whole night, the NHL was tweeting out that Kodak Black was at the game. The Panthers tweeted out Kodak Black was at the game. And then one of the two deleted their tweet. I just forget who it was, and I don't want to be wrong, but it was one of the two. But, my God, that's incredible.
And then how everybody's saying, oh, man, if only Strombone 1 didn't work for the team, we'd get his take on this. And he did not disappoint. Roberto Luongo comes out and actually has a take because, well, if you have not seen this video, he is in the video.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a suite right next to Kodak Black in the video, and he had a take.
PA announcer, please keep your eyes on the puck at all times. Everyone, okay, Kodak, honey, turn around. It's not safe. Ridiculous.
Oh, hockey. Anyways, the Nashville Predators are, well, Matt, I'm going to do a quick series here, and you're going to fill in the blank. How about that?
So it's ad libs.
Yeah, we're ad libbing it right now.
This
folks.
is an ad libbed episode.
We did not prepare for this because I figured, why not? Okay, the Nashville Predators are blank at hockey right now.
How many words do I get? Just one, or do I get to fill in the blank?
I'll say you get a max of 3 words.
Pretty damn good.
Okay. Let's see. Matt Duchene.
Well, they're going to use me there.
Matt Duchene, blank, blank, blank.
Bad motherfucker. Like, honest to God, from his post-game comments to just...
Give a damn.
Him having a contract year, good for him.
When it's not even one.
Yeah, like, this feels like a Matt Duchene contract year. Like, it feels like he is just fighting for something, but I guess he just gives a damn. But yeah, no, 33 points, 33 games, looking at it all right now. Shooting percent of 17.6, which is pretty high.
Yeah.
He shot the puck 91 times. Like, he's playing like a man on a mission. So yeah, bad mother is my fill in the blank for him.
I can only imagine how big his eyes got when that rebound popped out to him.
Oh yeah, that's Christmas morning. That's hello, thanks, bye. Like,
okay, last one here before we actually will get into a discussion about it. Tanner Jeannot space Calder
won't win the Calder. Which is like, that feels super obvious to just say, like, he's not, unless for the second half of the season he produces at a point per game rate, he's not going to win the Calder. He's probably third in Calder voting right now. That's where I'd put him. Okay. Like a month ago, like actually a few weeks ago when he started getting hot, I had Jeannot like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Now he's like 3.
That means he's in the conversation. That's what's important.
Now he's officially in the conversation. When he's 4 or 5, it was like a nice little niche thing. Now that he's like, for me at least, top 3 and firmly in there, now you can have the conversation about it.
Okay, let me ask another hypothetical then. If he still leads rookies in goal score, not necessarily points, I think that might be difficult for points because just given the situations that he plays in, not going to rack up as many assists.
Mm-hmm.
If he leads rookies in goals scored and is only behind in terms of total points by 10 or less, would that change?
Yeah. Not much, though. Just because...
Does that give him a chance? Do you think that would at least give voters an opportunity to put him at number 1?
Yes, and then it'll give an argument for, well, he deserves more because he's not getting power play time. He has 2 power play points. The other guys ahead of him, Lucas Raymond and Trevor Zegras, have much more. So the argument could be made both ways, where if you give Tanner Jeannot the power play time that he deserves, then he'd get those power play points. It's not, the Calder isn't a hypothetical, if he's in the best case scenario, would he win the Calder thing. The Calder is, however he is played and deployed out there on the ice, that's what you get to judge him on. You don't get to judge him on the, well, if he did this, which is a fair argument, but that's just not the award. It would put him closer, but it probably wouldn't change much.
So here's my thought on it, is that I think he deserves to be talked about more given his value to the team. Not that it's the situational thing, but that are we looking at the most valuable rookie to their team? Mm-hmm. And because I figure it's supposed to be like MVP of rookies.
Yes.
Is what it's supposed to be. Without Tanner Jeannot, this team would look very different, not just in terms of goals scored, but in terms of the physicality aspect of it too, with the way that he creates room out there. And as Glenn and I discussed in Penalty Box Radio Live show, teams now have to prepare for Tanner Jeannot, not just from a physical aspect, but that he's an actual scoring threat out there, that he is a guy that can pop the puck in, he can skate, he has speed, especially for his size, and he can hit you. And if you decide to drop the gloves against him, may God be with you. So that's what I'm looking at too, is yes, of course teams are having to prepare for Trevor Zegras, Lucas Raymond. They have to prepare for them because they're super talented, highly skilled players. Tanner Jeannot enters a conversation too of teams have to prepare for him. He's not just any other player out there right now as it stands because of the well-roundedness that he offers as well too. That's what I think helps the conversation a little more. Not to say that I think right now Tanner for Calder or anything like that, because it's still early. We got to get past the halfway point. Let's get 2/3 of the way into the season too. Right now, he is doing everything he needs to do. Keep that up, and he stays in the conversation. And I think it can because of the way he's being deployed too. And we'll see how other teams adjust against him as the season progresses. But he has to be prepared for by the opposition. And that's really fun to see because if you have a fully healthy Nashville Predators team, if they have to prepare for Tanner Jeannot and Matt Duchene and Philip Forsberg, those are 3 very different types of players that a team has to prepare for.
The one thing about Tanner Jeannot that you touched on that I want to expand on more is like he's getting the right amount of ice time. He's not getting overworked. He's not getting underworked. He's getting rewarded when he needs to be rewarded. I'm looking here, December 17th against Chicago, 22 minutes. December 16th against Colorado, 24 minutes. Those 2 games, Tanner Jeannot was the most impressive player on the ice. I remember watching those 2 games and going, he's been out there a lot. Now looking at the game logs, it makes complete sense. Then you look at the rest of the game logs, 14, 16, 15, 16, 15, 12 minutes against Arizona, but that's because he had 12 PIMs. He's getting deployed at the rate in which he should to prevent him from just tailing out towards the end of the season, but to keep his skills fresh. We're not seeing any of the early season 10-minute, 12-minute ice time. Like that happened super early, and it kind of bucked the trend. And this is the first sense of consistency where his time on ice has been within a minute instead of like 2 to 3 minutes. We're at the grand scheme of things. That's a big deal in terms of your endurance, because if you're used to being trotted out there for 15 to 16 minutes, your body knows how to adapt to that. But if one day coach is going to be like 22, all right, next game 13, then it's a bit different. I pulled up the betting odds for Tanner Jeannot too for, as of right now, the NHL 21-22 awards. Trevor Zegras is the runaway favorite at plus 150. Lucas Raymond right behind him at plus 175. Seider is plus 800, and Jeannot is plus 800. So he's technically tied for 3rd right now. And this is what it's been for me the whole time. It's been Zegras, Raymond, Seider, Jeannot, and then Dawson Mercer has been my top 5. Dawson Mercer and Tanner Jeannot could be the same odds within a month because Mercer is having a hell of a streak right now.
Right.
If I were a betting man...
You are a betting man. Don't...
You're right. Who would I put my money on? The question here, there's no value at plus 150. There's no value at plus 175 because you take either one of them and then an injury happens. See you later. So I don't like to do that for these kinds of things. Nedeljkovic, not even worth that plus 3,000. I'd honestly put my money on Dawson Mercer at plus 1,800 because there's just that more value compared to Tanner Jeannot at plus 800. But I would have loved to see what Tanner Jeannot's number was to start the year. I guarantee you it would have been off the board to the point where you would have to call the book or email the book and get them to put it on. Because it's just, it would have been plus 10,000 easily.
Which shows how much he's progressed.
Yeah.
And surprised everyone.
He has the attention, and it's not like this isn't a benchmark point, but when hockey podcasts that aren't Nashville centric are talking about him, then you got a legitimate thing on your hands. Now, my thing with Tanner Jeannot is I've always compared him to JVR, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tweak that a tiny bit. Tanner Jeannot is a clone of JVR, except you take away some scoring touch and add a bit more grit. And JVR is the opposite, where you add more scoring touch, get rid of a bit more grit. But they like playing in the same areas. They're the same kind of guy there. And this is JVR prime, not JVR right now. But it's the same mold. He's the same kind of player. And if you can make that work in the NHL at its current state, you're going to get a payday.
There's
not a lot of effective power forwards. The effective power forwards that are in this league are vet min guys on third and fourth lines. Like, that's what's happening now with the state of the game. But Tanner Jeannot is like, F you, F this. I'm going to play my game as a big boy from Sask and score goals.
And like you said, too, just about adjusting for minutes and how the bodies adjust, Tanner Jeannot is a health and fitness freak. With him staying in shape, how he treats his body, and the foods that he eats, his diet, his training, everything like that. All that goes into play. There's a reason why he makes the most out of every single time he's on the ice, because he is in peak physical form. Yeah, and you can do that when you're in peak physical form. That you're a big body. Yeah, you can skate like hell because you're in peak physical form. It doesn't matter how big you are. He's taking full advantage of all that because of the way he takes care of himself.
Tanner Jeannot, like, he's a good-looking dude. He's 24 years old. He's 6'2", 208 pounds and in shape.
Yeah.
Like, if he wasn't in hockey, he'd also be fine. But like, my one thing to you is we don't see players come into the NHL in like their first full year and score goals like he is. In terms of, like, you usually need to have a knack for scoring goals in front of the net.
Especially his path.
Right? Like, you need to have a knack for that, undrafted and all that. In the WHL, he had 140 goal season. I'm looking at it now. If he had 3 or 4 seasons in the WHL with 40 goals, 1 would have been drafted. 2, this question would be obsolete. How sustainable is his goal scoring pace? Like, how many should people expect per year? I'm 15 to 20.
Yeah, and that's what I would expect too, given the style of game that he plays. But I would lean more on like the 20, because if he stays in good shape and everything else, there's no reason why you shouldn't expect 20 from him. Because yeah, he's a little bit older for a rookie, but so is Kaprizov. So don't come at me with these older Red Wings fans. Had plenty of salt in there, but he's 24. Like, so was Kaprizov.
Yeah, no,
he was still a rookie.
That's the book. That's what it is. It's your first year.
He's a rookie. He played in the E last year.
Yeah, no.
I mean, so he deserves to get some consideration when he played in the E, and then all of a sudden you're a rookie and you're leading goals for the rookies in the NHL. But I think it's one of those things too. Yeah, 15 to 20 seems to be a good average. He's the kind of player though that he could have one of those years where things are just clicking and he's getting in front of the net. He's getting some garbage goals where he could pop in 25.
Yeah,
he's that type of player. He could have that peak year. But I think a good average over his career with what he's playing right now, I think 15 to 20, maybe lean on the higher side towards 19, 20.
To me, Tanner Jeannot equals out to what Zach Hyman did with the Leafs. He wasn't a big prospect, Florida the Leafs kind of thing. Wasn't on anybody's radar. Got put in a good situation to just literally play his game, which is be a big body and bang the puck in. Zach Hyman said, thanks, Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm going to Edmonton to play with Connor McDavid and make a shit ton of money. The only thing I will say, because one of the things that people are bringing up is Tanner Jeannot, yeah, he's 24. He can develop. The skill ceiling for this kind of player isn't as high as the skill ceiling for a guy who's been touted in junior to be a goal scorer. And then it doesn't actually happen yet, right? Like Jack
getting
Hughes,
the coaching and everything.
Exactly. Jack Hughes' first couple years in the NHL looked like shit. Didn't look great. This year looks good because that ceiling is there and he's had time to progress. Now, I'm not ruling it out for Tanner Jeannot. I'm just saying, like, that's not what he's supposed to be. So if you're expecting, like, NHL experience equals higher progression, yeah, but only to what he's capable of.
So that's not how it works. Yeah.
Right. Like, how if he joins the list of undrafted or 7th round guys that turn into this incredible hockey player, the Zetterbergs, like the St. Louis of the world, then that'd be awesome. It's just that doesn't happen
Rare.
a lot at all. At most, they turn into impact players where, good for them, it worked out. But just temper expectations, enjoy it. He's kicking so much ass. He's a perfect middle six forward. Could probably play top 6 minutes on some teams. Not a lot, but just enjoy it for what it is.
I mean, I'd like to think that he's a way less shitty version of what Tom Wilson provides the Caps at times.
Yes.
If anything, it was a little bit higher scoring touch.
Higher scoring touch, less aggressive.
Right, but it could turn into a little bit higher scoring touch. It depends on who he's paired with too out there, like who he's out there on the ice with. I mean, that obviously helps Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson would be nobody without the top 6 that Washington has. Zach Hyman would have been nothing if he wasn't a top 6 player in Toronto. Like, the whole argument, the same thing happened with Connor Brown in Toronto. Connor Brown came to Toronto and just wasn't that great, and then went to Ottawa, and everyone was like, well, he used to run with McDavid and score all these points, but now that he has a top 6 role, it's like, his ceiling is only so high. That's it. Like, you need a supporting cast around you or you're going to suffer. Tanner Jeannot is doing pretty good with what he has on his line right now.
Right. And the cool thing too for him is when you think about where his mindset probably was a couple years ago. And obviously the goal was to make the NHL always. But in terms of salary and what the kid was making back then into what his potential is going to be now, he could, he plays in the NHL for only 4 or 5 more years. You never know.
Injuries.
But over those 4 or 5 more years, there's no doubt that he's probably should be getting paid around 3.
Yeah.
3 to 4.
The only thing that would ruin Tanner Jeannot's career are injuries because of the way he plays.
Yeah. But him staying in shape and being aware of his shape so early in his career.
Oh, yeah. Be a brick shithouse, you're fine.
Yeah. Then that's going to go a long way instead of having... That's maybe one of the things, too, why he's been able to make this jump is that he's taken his fitness so seriously early on instead of waiting for other coaches to tell him to.
Mm-hmm.
Because we see how many other players that maybe don't. It doesn't exist as much nowadays because you have agents advising you and all these different types of things. But for being an undrafted guy who wasn't, like you said, getting that coaching from 18 years old to 20, that's 6 years. Now, let's say 5 years because he joined the Preds system. 5 years of not having development camps like that, of being a part of a system. He's been invited on plenty, I'm sure.
And probably worked his ass off, was just buried.
And didn't make teams, or didn't get drafted in years. So all those factors go into play. But either way, enjoy the ride with Tanner Jeannot. He's kicking ass right now. He's putting the Preds in the conversation, who are now in the conversation for potentially multiple awards.
Mm-hmm.
So not just Calder. There's Justus Saros, Vezina. There's Roman Josi, Norris.
Saros for Vezina, he is 1, 2, 3, the 4th listed player at 1,400 odds, so he has the respect.
He should. I mean, there's still a long time to go. We're not even 41 games.
No.
Which is crazy. It feels like we are.
The guys above him, Jack Campbell, Shesterkin, Vasilevsky, and then you can take the field if you want to at plus 1,000, which is the dumbest shit. And then Saros at plus 1,400. As a betting man, my money would go on Saros immediately right now.
Well, yeah. And it's crazy. Without the postpone, if we did have the postpone games played, the season would be halfway.
Mm-hmm.
At the halfway part, past it. But yeah, Saros, Vezina, what's Josi at for Norris?
Josi is 6th at plus 1,200 or tied for 4th because it goes Makar plus 175, who I think will win.
Okay.
Adam Fox plus 400, Hedman 400, Ekblad plus 1,000, and Carlson's 1,000 as well, and then Josi's plus 12. And then there's a huge gap, goes to 2,500 to Morgan Riley.
So you see what your top 6 is in terms of what people think. Yeah.
Wouldn't even touch this. Would just leave it. Like, unless Makar blows a knee out, it's his. Right.
Well, I mean, and we saw what he's capable of doing in that game last night.
He's disgusting.
Oh my God, the moves in the little adjustments. That's the thing. As a defenseman, same thing with Roman Josi. We've seen that out of him too. Those little minor adjustments that you do to turn a defenseman around just to get them off in terms of how they're tracking you to clear away towards the net. It is insane how talented so many of these guys are, especially as defensemen doing these types of moves.
The spin move he had was just so stupid.
That was the same night the Forsberg had his self-pass goal too.
If you were to start a franchise right now and I could tell you could have Roman Josi at 20 years old or Cale Makar at 20 years old, who would you take?
I hate you.
That's hard, isn't it?
It is really difficult because they are very similar in terms of players. And I say this too because I actually asked Roman Josi something about this before after he won the Norris. Because when you think of the styles of defensemen, right, you see an evolution over time with any style, with any player, you see an evolution. So Roman Josi obviously benefited greatly from having Phil Housley as an assistant coach in his younger years, in terms of developing that. And you see plenty of mobile defensemen, but in terms of like the mobile defenseman for a few years, it was Roman Josi.
Yeah, he was the guy.
He was the guy, and then along came a few other guys like your Miro Heiskanen's, your Cale Makars. Those guys started coming out as the next generation. As I asked Josi about it, it was yes. I mean, he didn't necessarily talk about himself, but he was the first generation, and quickly the next generation came right after him of setting the new standard of defensemen and what other teams were looking for too, because they realized, oh, we can get defensemen really involved, and not just involved in offense, but be willing to allow them to drive towards the net and be highly involved as well too, to be almost an extra winger at times and have that trust factor to rotate guys to utilize their skills. Because how many defensemen probably over the past few decades have been talented enough to do that, but they just weren't allowed to?
So many.
Because the system of hockey, they weren't allowed to go and utilize their skill.
Any further than the blue line, you're getting a bag skate. That was the whole thing. Like, if the question was flipped to me, who would I take? I'd take Cale Makar, just because it's a slightly faster NHL now, and Makar's like just body type fits in better.
Okay, well, I mean, if that's the scenario, then yeah, I would take that.
Yeah.
If it's like, say, all things considered equal, then I would take Josi.
Yeah.
If it's all things considered equal.
It's tough because, I mean, Yosi's a Norris winner. Cale Makar's going to win a Norris.
Right, and because I guess I'm taking my knowledge base on what I've seen out of Josi throughout his career, and that's what I'm basing it on, with all things setting equal, as in they're starting in the right prime.
You could add like Adam Fox to this conversation.
Yeah,
there really is no wrong answer. It's just crazy how good defensemen are now.
Yeah, and what's expected out of them too.
Like how they can, like, compared to the old days where they could only impact play defensively, like with hits or breaking something up. Cale Makar does a half spin on a Chicago Blackhawks player and then snipes it. Like, that changes the whole game. That changes literally everything. Roman Josi jumps up in the play and rips one in the slot instead of the blue line. Changes the whole game. It's just completely different.
Well, and think you see just how everything's changed with how the Predators have drafted defensemen as well. I mean, you obviously see what they have in Josi, but then you saw what they kind of expect out of Fabro. He isn't near as mobile as Roman Josi, but then what they want in the system, you see your David Ferentz, mobile guy, especially Jeremy Davies, very mobile in terms of what they want and expect out of this as well. And I know they've taken a couple more traffic cone-ish defensemen as well, but it's more of a balance, I think, of what they're trying to see what they can do with those guys, just to kind of say, hey, we know, especially in the middle to late rounds, you're not drafting to get a top 4 defenseman. You're drafting for, hey, could you play in the third pairing for 2 years?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Could you maybe perhaps turn into a reliable third pairing defenseman that we don't have
that's
to trade?
Fine.
That's
fine.
That's great.
It's better to find it in a draft and pay way less instead of having to overpay for a veteran. So, all right. So let's discuss that game briefly, and not just the game itself, but the implications of the game between the Predators and Colorado, because people have heard so much post-game talk. They've heard it from me already on Penalty Box Radio. They've heard it everywhere else. It's going to be old news. But more the implications. So in the past 14 games, the Nashville Predators have only lost twice. Once in regulation, once in the shootout, and those are back-to-back. So it ended a 7-game win streak, and then a new 5-game win streak began after that. In that span, they beat Vegas, a very good team. They beat the Rangers, another very good team right now as well. And they beat Colorado, not just once, but twice. And in those 2 games, they scored 5 goals against Colorado each time. Yeah, Colorado in this other game scored 4 against them. In the other meeting, it was only 2. Obviously, Colorado's still a litmus test. But getting 4 quality wins like that in 14 games, especially against a division rival and a Western Conference rival, what does that mean to you? What does that show you? Because people probably know what I think. When you see wins like this for this Nashville Predators team, when they are litmus tests, very skilled teams, especially Colorado, highly skilled, and Vegas, who just everybody's still obviously high in Vegas. What does it speak to you, Matt?
When they beat Colorado for the first time in that 5-2 game, I went, doesn't really count that much. The Avs were depleted. McKinnon was just starting to get back in the lineup. I was like, good, cool, whatever. And I knew that they would play in January. So I was like, there's where I'll actually give a damn. You look at the rest of their schedule, the impressive games that are going to be circled are, there's all the postponements, blah, 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 blah. There's this. Against Vegas, like you said, who are a pretty damn good team. Now that they're healthy, they have no excuses. Like, everyone is there and everyone's ready now, except for poor old Patches. But most of their team is healthy. They have some superstars back. They're fine. They win by a narrow amount. That shows me they can contend. They beat LA 4-2. They beat Arizona 4-2. Like, those are the teams you're supposed to beat. But it used to be that you and I would talk about, like, you would have to win this game against the Coyotes. They've earned enough respect for me at this point that they could have dropped one against the Coyotes, and that wouldn't have been a let's wave the white flag. It would have been just an off game, which we never gave them the benefit of the doubt for last year, early in the season even. It was just they must win this, have to compete in this. It'd be okay if they lose to this team. But now they're showing that they can hang and bang with the big boys. When they beat Colorado 5-4, 1, fun game, 2, officiating, ha ha ha. But that's been beat to death. The Avalanche had a full lineup. They had everyone that was ready to go. They had Darcy Kemper starting this time, which was another like asterisk on the first game because it was like Francouz? Yeah,
sure.
I was like, cool, good, whatever. Like, you should beat up on that version of the Avs team. This version of the Avs team, that was a game. That was fun. That was an exciting game other than the officiating. But that's just how I think the Preds are expected to be now. Once you cross the threshold of, I have now beat top dogs in the NHL, everyone's watching you. It doesn't matter if you're a small market team or a big market team. The second you start knocking off competitors for the Stanley Cup, you're going to get noticed. So now, if the Preds lose to an Avs team, or if they lose to Vegas, or coming up, let's see here, they lose to St. Louis, they lose to...
Almost had you.
They lose to Boston, they lose to St. Louis. Then it's like, okay, what's happening here? They will get more scrutiny for losing to the teams that are contenders now than losing against shitty teams. Just because they've shown over a decent stretch that they're for real. This team, not like for real Stanley Cup contender for real. I'm not on that hill yet.
They're for real competitive team.
They're for real competitive team. They're a team that reminds me a hell of a lot of the, I think it was 2008 Los Angeles Kings, where they snuck into the playoffs with that 8 seed and Johnny Quick backstopped them all the way. What did that team have? Tough MFers, a couple skill guys, a hell of a defenseman in Drew Doughty, and a great goaltender in Jonathan Quick. What do the Preds have? Kind of the same recipe.
Don't tease people with a good time.
It's the same recipe though. But yeah, I'm comparing Anze Kopitar in his prime to Philip Forsberg, right? Like Kopitar, Forsberg, Olympic Johnny Quick, UC Saros, who's been great.
Olympic UC Saros,
Dustin Brown, Tanner Jeannot. Like, the comparisons are there, but it's not like super set in stone. It's not one-on-one kind of thing.
We got a long way to go still.
Oh yeah,
over 41 games, which is, dear God, that means you're going to squeeze so much into a few months. Which is why the depth is going to be important. Which is another reason why it's important to have the likes of Tanner Jeannot scoring the way he is, or a Yakov Trenin scoring the way he is. To have Luke Cunnin put in a 2-goal game who was underperformed, and he knows he's underperformed because more is expected of him. Luke Cunning's supposed to be the 20-goal guy. He's supposed to be like the Craig Smith type of replacement. Like, okay, dude, we know you're not going to be this breakout star, but you need to be that solid second liner that gets 20 goals a season.
You need to be the guy where teams at the deadline are looking for this kind of player that can flex into their middle six and flex up there because they just score goals and get points. That's what he needs to be.
Right, and he had a great game. Great game. That's what you need out of Luke Cunnin, is to have a couple of those games, build that confidence up. But that depth scoring is what's going to send the Preds over the edge towards being truly competitive. Because now that you have your stars continue, like Matt Duchene is continuing. It wasn't just a hot start. He is good this season. He is really, really, really good this season. Forsberg, really good. And he'll be coming back from COVID protocol either Thursday or Saturday. So he's really, Roman Josi, really good. Yusuf Saros, obviously really good. So they putting up together so many good things in this season to build confidence in, which is also going to be curious as to what happens at the deadline. Because it's been discussed how many times about Forsberg. Not just that, though, is Poyle's going to be looking at this going, Oh, we're one piece away. God damn it. Don't say one piece away again.
That's why I'm worried. The cupboard is finally getting restocked. Jeremy Davies, Carrier, all these, Tomasino, all these guys, pretty stocked. My worry. Let's pick a team who's a seller. Let's just do this live on the fly here. Who's going to be a seller for sure? Let's go look at...
Who has stuff to sell?
Seattle Kraken has stuff to sell for sure. Let's do 2 case studies here.
Montreal,
and we will do the Kraken. Montreal, line combinations. How big
oh God,
of an erection would David Poile get if Montreal called and said Mike Hoffman is available?
but there's been so many rumors before about Mike Hoffman.
Right. But it's just my whole thing
No,
is...
I'm talking about like of Preds fans wanting him here. I don't think Nashville wants Mike Hoffman.
No, but I mean, David Poile will go goal scorer, having bad year, me like. Or if Seattle goes Yanni Gourde, who showed prowess with the Tampa Bay, and he was looking good there, and now he's in Seattle going, okay.
Or what about Kalle Järnkrok?
No, stop that. But like, that's my worry, is that someone goes, okay, give us B-level prospect mid-round pick, and he's yours.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many players across the league. Like, that's the worry. I don't think you need to make any moves. Why mess with a good thing that's overperforming?
Well, just let it run, because they've overperformed in a great way from what was supposed to be a competitive rebuild that now they're just a competitive hockey team. So just let it run its course. Keep those guys continuing to develop. Utilize all your draft picks to keep rebuilding, because if they go at this pace, then that means you're that much closer to a true Stanley Cup window opening.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep at this pace, and maybe you make it to the second round this year, maybe you make it to the Western Conference Final. Who knows? But I'd rather them do that with what they have right now than make moves, because then if you do this with what you have right now, it means the next year the team should be even better, and the year after that even better, because then you have all these prospects coming up to where you can let somebody go if you need to, because you continue to draft. And so 3-4 years of a Stanley Cup window, that could be phenomenal for this team if you're not trading away things, because you can't keep rebuilding it, because you have to win a cup before you can say it was worth it to sell the farm.
Yep, 100%. And you have to at least go through a few rounds. There's a lot of players I'm looking at that I know David Poile will be like, I want this. Anders Lee.
Did they go to Northeastern?
No. Like, an Anders Lee becomes available because the Islanders are sucking. That guy
He's going to be expensive.
Goals. With his full contract, you're matching contract and then giving prospects. That's it. That's like, there's so many teams around the league like that you can make a case for anybody in their top 6, and David Poile going, me likey, me love it. Me wants some more of it. Nom nom Cookie Monster David Poile.
Oh God. Okay, so before I move on to the next quick subject matter,
why are you giggling? What is?
I just want, give me one word when I say this phrase.
Okay.
Ken Holland, Evander Kane.
See, the problem is all the one words are prefaced by the F word. Jagaloon.
Okay.
What a dumbass. Like,
Okay, Connor McDavid's comments, Evander Kane. For me, Oilers deserve to lose now. Whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, screw you. If that's what you're gonna say, then you don't have any cojones on you.
No. I also feel like, what was he supposed to say?
I know, but you are here.
He got backed into a corner by Ken Holland. Holland being like, I like this guy, I want him.
You're putting your captain, your generational talent, into a position to have to answer for your shitty actions.
Mm-hmm. And Ken Holland was probably like, I already said everyone deserves a second chance. It's like, cool.
Yeah, it's also the Canadian hockey media.
Yeah, no.
What do you expect out of a team that has felt so much pressure because they have not won a cup when you have 2 generational talents
and
one that doesn't get
again.
talked about? Yeah. So, like, come on. Like, McDavid, you got to say a little something. You got to say a little something.
I think if the Oilers are winning and their on-ice product isn't as shitty as it is right now, then he says something a little more. But because that team, like the media up here, is at their necks because they were good to start the year. And now Mikko Koskinen is Mikko Koskinen and Mike Smith is old. So it just makes no sense to me. But if they were performing averagely, then I could see Connor McDavid saying something.
Here's what I would like. I'm paraphrasing, but here's what I'd like. Yeah, I really like the locker room we have right now. I'm confident in the guys that we have. If Ken sees someone out there before the trade deadline that he thinks can add to this locker room and add to us on the ice, then I'd be more than happy to welcome that member in. Bam.
Yeah, that's all you need to say.
That's all you need to say.
That's like when you're allowed to skate around the topic because it's not supposed to be your place right now. And the counter argument
how I did that?
Yeah, 100%. But the counter argument I've been seeing is, but he's the captain. He should be able to speak candidly. No, he's the captain. He should be able to talk about the best interests of the team. And sometimes that means pussyfooting around the subject.
At least do that, because here it makes him look worse. With what he said, it makes Connor McDavid look really bad.
That's pretty stupid. But to me, the only reason, Ken Holland made him do it, like it's a puppeteer kind of thing.
Yeah, I would be. I hope he's pissed off at his general manager.
100%.
Because the thing is, we see this how often now in this sport of guys that just need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Holland does not need to be working in hockey anymore.
There's a lot of old guard that doesn't.
There's
need
a
to be
lot.
In hockey anymore.
There's a lot, and I know we're on the same page with this. There are so many that don't need to be in this sport anymore because their actions speak way louder than any of the bullshit they say.
Well, another example that's making the rounds right now is Hextall wanting Nolan Patrick in that draft, and the whole room wanted Cale Makar. The Flyers wanted to draft Cale Makar. But Hextall was like, no, rough and tough. Gotta get my forward. Gotta get this guy. Let's get him. Cale Makar's too soft, and he overrode everyone's decision. That's the old guard bullshit where a normal general manager would be like, let me hear it out. Pretty much a majority, unless it's like there's a death wish against his son if he doesn't draft this player kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then, yeah, you're going to listen to your department, but there's so many examples of old guard, whether it be like negative old guard like Ken Holland and friends, or like you dumbass old guard like Hextall.
So here's where I'll give David Poole credit, because from what I've seen over the draft,
the
Predators, that in terms of their drafting, they haven't been in as many positions to pick really good offensive talents that stand right out. You're like, yes, that's the one, because that year was going to be the Seth Jones year.
Mm-hmm.
That was going to be the year. It's like Barkov, and then everything got flubbed up. And once you got past Jones, it was a little bit more difficult to decide, okay, what route do you want to go? Because Seth Jones, obviously, especially then, and I know he's trailed off a little bit, but still a solid defenseman for that draft.
Still
and there
a
were
top pairing, elite defenseman, yeah.
Exactly. There were a couple players after that that performed well, but you still don't know then. But you knew with McKinnon, you knew with Barkov, you knew what was going to happen with these players, but that didn't happen. So the team that we thought was going to draft Jones, which is Colorado, drafted McKinnon. And it messed everything up to where Barkov then went to Florida. So my point, though, is that David Poile, in terms of how he allows the different scouting staff and player development to be available, he puts a lot of trust into other people to make decisions during the draft where it's not him. And you see that because of who they make available after the draft as well. They have a lot of their scouts immediately available for media right after that player was drafted. So if it's a scout that scouted this one particular player, that guy's available right then after the player's drafted. That's really cool. And I don't cover any other teams, so I don't know what other teams do that. But that is really neat that in this previous couple drafts, we've talked to multiple scouts from all around the world where they can talk specifically about the player that was drafted to give us a report.
Mm-hmm.
Because Poile doesn't always know that, but that's why you have staff that you trust and you hire and trust to do this job. And so that overall, when they say why they drafted certain players, I believe them, because it feels like they really were a part of the conversation, that he makes it an actual team event.
Yeah.
That it's not him overriding because he's putting his trust into other people. That for me, that's what I like with David Poile, that's not old guard. That's a new way.
That's accepting that you don't. That's swallowing your pride, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah,
that's
and
going,
trusting
I
your people.
don't know everything, but I'm a good manager, and therefore I'm going to manage the shit out of this and let the people who know what they're talking about do the talking. That's why you see, like you said, a lot more like scouting directors and then North America or Europe or rest of the world get to talk at the trade deadline on radio shows and TV shows compared to the general managers who are still on the phone because they're trying to muster up deals still while Bobby Joe, who is the head of North American Scouting, has been following this player. It's like, yep, great ad. They've been skating. They've played here. His little brother plays at the same high school, like knows the ins and outs, where David Poile just gets like a note sheet where it's like bullet point, skates hard, bullet point, has a knack for finding the back of the net. Like, I'd rather hear from the skilled individuals in the organization that get paid the money they get paid to do their damn job.
Absolutely.
Compared to just puppeteer.
Absolutely. Okay. Have you seen Encanto yet?
No, but here is an update before you get mad. Kyle's mad at me too for not seeing that. I watched all of Hawkeye.
Okay.
I watched the first 2 episodes of Boba Fett.
Okay, I still have to watch the 3rd one.
When did that come out?
Today. Every Wednesday, bud.
Okay, well, days are days to me, not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I
need to watch the 3rd one still. I haven't seen that. I'll do that tonight. But yeah, I've watched Hawkeye, and I watched the other thing I said. 2 episodes of Book of Boba Fett.
Okay, well, spoilers for Hawkeye. What were your thoughts on Hawkeye as a series?
Family, I guess, is the only word, and I don't mean that Vin Diesel family. I just mean
family.
Like I rewatched all the Fast and the Furiouses a couple weeks ago. What an experience!
I'm sure I did that during the height of the pandemic.
It was like Fast like 8. I was like, what am I doing? But for Hawkeye, if I wanted to introduce someone to Marvel on a family-friendly show, it'd be Hawkeye. Like, even if
it's a holiday show,
this is considering like all the movies as well. This one is the most family-friendly, and
it's easy to follow.
My biggest selling point is they had a one-eyed dog that loved pizza.
Here, I thought you were gonna say Haley Steinfeld.
That too, she's great. But I mean,
and she's part Filipino.
She is, and she can sing because of all those days at Lola and Lolo's karaoke. But genuinely, it was just it was fun.
It was fun. It was a fun show. I liked it a lot.
Wasn't anything over the top in terms of, wow, what a creative way to do this. There were some good homages, like with Black Widow and him saving Haley Steinfeld at the side of the building. Like, those were good. Just callbacks.
And the interaction between Yelena and Kate, though, were incredible.
So good. Like,
great
so
chemistry.
many fun haha moments. There was really nothing that I could nitpick at it. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, I'm so glad. We're going to get more of Haley Steinfeld in her character as Kate Bishop, as well as Yelena Belova. We're going to get so much more of them together because Marvel's going to realize, oh, look at the chemistry. Yeah, they're definitely going to be in movies together. I mean, because they are. I mean, that's what they're setting up. They're setting up Young Avengers and everything, too. The great little touches that I liked, obviously, Kingpin coming in. Oh boy, Vincent D'Onofrio is so good. And then the touch with the watch for Hawkeye's wife ended up being Mockingbird. Is really cool too. Oh, jeez.
I'm muting the recording mic so I can choke.
Wrong tube, I think, for Mr. Best. But yeah, I like those little touches there too. But like what you say, I think to introduce somebody that'd be fantastic, especially as a 6-part series. It's like, hey, here's something fun to watch with the family. Test it with your kids. Like if you have a 8-year-old or something, and you're not sure, see if they get a little bit of interest here, because you're not getting the deep superhero stuff. It's just like fun action comedy.
And you don't need to know the MCU to the most extreme in order to make it work.
Like, no, they imply enough.
You can't show someone Falcon Winter Soldier kind of thing because there's way too much to know. Can't show someone WandaVision because there's way too much to know. Hawkeye, it's basically good guys against bad guys. Here's big plot twist.
And a little bit of detective work.
Right. And then MCU twisties like with Kingpin and things like that. Then, that makes sense. But there is nothing like... You can go into that dry and watch it and just be completely fine.
Please don't go in dry. Okay, lastly, before we have to wrap it up, we are getting closer and closer to the Stadium Series. And so we want everybody to know, we are working on planning stuff for Stadium Series weekend because Mr. Best made his plans and he is coming to Nashville, baby.
I am legitimately like confirmed and booked. The only thing stopping me now is that COVID virus. Yeah, I'm coming in on the Friday morning and I'm leaving Monday afternoon. So our tentative plan is what? Meet up on Friday, we said?
Friday for dinner.
Yeah.
And podcast recording Sunday.
Oh, I like that. That's new. Okay, I'm down.
Well, and Sunday's my day with you.
Oh yeah, we're having a special date day. I can't wait. Yeah, when I told you about my Sunday plan to rent a car and drive around, I didn't mean for it to be like, hey, come drive me around and hang out. I just meant it as in like, I'm gonna fill my
That's your
day.
dick around day.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be hungover day and don't want to get on a plane to go home yet.
No, we're gonna have a boys' day.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be fun. Like, it's not just gonna be food necessarily. It's just gonna be we're gonna actually hang out.
Yeah, because the most we've ever hung out in person is like an hour and a half to 2 hours max.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. I'm excited.
It'll be weird.
Well, I'm gonna wear clothes.
Oh shit! I guess better do that too. Okay. And then so our plan is on that Friday before the Stadium Series, we want to have a get together for Filipino food.
Yep.
I'm going to make a call probably 2 weeks before to see what's going to be going on that night. So, or be on the lookout for for RSVPs, because it's something we want to spend with you. If you're going to be in town, Kyle, I swear you better find a way to be down here for this.
He's coming for sure. So Kyle's coming for sure on the Saturday because he's going to the game with me.
Okay.
But the Friday he's trying to come down. And then the Sunday, he said he wants to stick around for a little if he can and hang out with us.
Okay, well, good, because we want to get a group. It doesn't have to be huge, so don't feel pressure to come and hang out with us. But especially for Filipino food, it's in Laverne, just so everybody knows, a one Filipino restaurant in Nashville. It's a small market, so I'm sure they'll love the business. We're gonna make sure we order ahead and everything too. But man, I want to introduce you to a lot of different Filipino food and enjoy there. And then Sunday, we want to do a live podcast recording. So we're going to figure out a place for that. So if you know of a place, particularly like a brewery or a distillery that would love to have a live event, I'm going to reach out to Tailgate. I'm just going to go ahead and say that so people don't say Tailgate, because Tailgate's like 3 miles from my house.
That works out
and
well.
They have definite space for something like this. But if you have connections, especially folks, if you have connections at a venue or even a restaurant or something that has space for something like this, please reach out to us. Let us know so we can book something like this. We want to have a big meetup and get together with everybody post Stadium Series.
Yeah,
so I know
Friday
you
and
hungover.
Sunday. The sandwich.
Friday and Sunday.
Yeah.
We're not going to try to do anything Stadium Series Day because it's just going to be a mess everywhere, and we don't want to make anybody feel like they have to miss something else going on downtown to hang out with us. We don't want to put you in that predicament.
Also, I am looking for a chaperone on Friday, Saturday for all the fun bars around town that's not the local spots like that tourists go to. So if you'd like to come on an adventure with me, let me know.
Oh dear God. We'll see how I'm doing that day.
See, I just don't think there's a world in which I get you drunk.
I was drunk last Saturday.
See, I mean like for the Stadium Series or on the Friday. I feel like you're too responsible.
Well, if I'm driving, then yes, I'm very
that's my
responsible.
point. Yeah, I think you'll be driving. You can crash at the hotel I'm staying at.
Oh dear God.
It's one king bed and a sofa bed.
Whew, that all sounds bad for my back.
Also
one sounds good for cuddling. One sounds, God, whatever. Anyways, so we're gonna work on that. Be on the lookout for it because we know everybody wants to hang out, and obviously I'm gonna plan on being media at the Stadium Series game, but I want to come hang out with everybody pre-game and everything, and it should end at a decent time because they're possibly gonna start it mid-afternoon is what it probably will be. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Really excited to hang out with everybody, and for a lot of you to actually meet Matt for the first time.
Yeah.
In person.
It's going to be kind of weird because I'm pretty bad with names. So someone's going to come up to me and be like, you're right. You're
especially
right.
Because so many people don't use their picture as their avatar.
Yeah, I'll be like, somebody will be like, oh, I'm this person. I'll be like, oh, your guy with logo as name. Right, or as picture. Gotcha.
Exactly. So, and next time you hear from us folks, I will be a married man.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to bring that up at the end. Congratulations, by the way.
It's thank you.
Pre-congratulations, but
thank you.
Are you you nervous, excited?
I'm excited just to to be done so we can go on our honeymoon.
That's true. You're very much looking forward to that, aren't you?
I'm very much looking forward to a vacation.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. But I'm very excited to have. It's a very small ceremony, as most of you know. In fact, Matt's trying to work to come down for the reception in April.
We've mostly planned it out. Just baseball game before, and then drive down.
Which is great to make it a big trip like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Folks, if truly, because I know we have loyal listeners, if you want to come to our wedding reception, please reach out to me and I'll get you the details. It's going to be in the Nashville area. That's the goal, April 30th. So if you truly do want to come and celebrate with us, you are invited, because I know we have a lot of people. Don't feel awkward about it. I have a Facebook event, but I'm just not friends with everybody on Facebook, and everybody is on Facebook. So please reach out to me, DM me, tweet me, whatever, and say, hey, I'd really love to come celebrate with you all. Please do that. And so I'm very excited about that. It might snow on my wedding day, so let's just hope that it waits until we're after we're there so we can actually get to it. Because again, for those northerners that aren't aware, we have a lot of hills here, so it doesn't take much to slow things down because we don't have a lot of plows. And so a little hill with a little bit of snow was very bad.
Disaster.
Yeah, it's a disaster. But yeah, looking forward to that, and having Monday off, because it's again Martin Luther King Jr. Day here in the States, and so a nice little long weekend for it.
That is, you planned that out quite nicely.
We did that on purpose.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like it.
So then leave for honeymoon on February 5th.
That's pretty damn good. You're gonna be nice. That's a lot of fun. I had something to say, and I completely forget it. And
you feel free to send gifts, folks. I'm more than.
Did you want me to say that instead?
No, I don't care. This is my.
What do you want? Like,
I have a registry. What do you want? You're doing the Ryan Gosling.
Organized.
What do you want?
But can I just go up to you and give you a check and be like, here you go? Yes, I still use checks.
It's a check with a QUE, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because I am Canadian.
No, this is my first wedding, and it's really cool getting free shit.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I'm on your website now. Registry.
Oh, no.
You're right.
You're not gonna live buy something, are you?
I am.
Oh my god!
I'm live buying something.
My godmother did. My godmother got me my new grill set.
Oh, that's nice.
So that was nice.
Honeymoon fund.
We have honeymoon funds.
That's cool.
Everything too.
Rice cooker, it is really neat. Ceramic bowl. Oh, okay. So if I buy one, it gets off the list. I don't use wedding registries. I just give people cash.
Well, no. See, I learned so much too. Like, it's really cool. Oh God, we're getting into wedding talk. People have been rolling their eyes. But it's really cool on Amazon. They have this feature for group gifting. Like, you can set a price, and if something costs a certain amount, people can contribute. Like you have 6 people get together and each chip in $15 or something like that.
Who bought you the Roomba, and did they want to be my friend?
Somebody bought it.
Oh, it's out of stock.
Don't do that to me. It's out of stock.
Yeah, it's out of stock.
Then I guess I better replace it. Something else.
Cool.
But what?
That's expensive. Why are pots and pans?
Well, okay, those are local. Those are made like in Clarksville, Tennessee, and they're extremely high quality.
Okay, that makes sense. Clearly, not an adult doesn't buy things like that.
Right. Well, I mean, it's just one of those things. We just put it there because of why not, just in case, right? And we figured too, again, like if people talk and get together and get stuff, it's like that's why there's some big ticket items there, because family, of course, too, right? I mean, family is willing to spend more money sometimes, and then if people get together and want to do a group gift, and that's what's cool about it, that we said I think the minimum is $75. So anything that's $75 or more, people can get together as a group and chip in money for it, which is
buy
awesome.
The thing. How do I? God. Okay, I want to do this live on the show.
God, now I'm nervous.
Well, I'm used to Amazon.com or .ca, not .com, so this is all different. Like legitimately.
Oh.
Like, okay, proceed to checkout.
Oh God.
Select deliver to this address. Full address hidden for privacy. I'm
gonna get an email as soon as you do this too.
You are.
Which is gonna be really funny.
Yeah, that MasterCard.
My God.
You can review this order before it's final. Okay. Select card currency. Continue. So many things. I don't want a free 30-day trial of Prime because I have it. No thanks.
This is crazy.
We're giving you 30. I don't want the 30 days. Place your order in CAD. And is it going to you? Like, you should get it. Oh, you just get it when it ships?
When it ships. Yep.
Like,
it just
there's
ships
no,
directly.
it doesn't wait for your day?
No.
Oh, wow.
Because we had some stuff arrive today. And we're like, wait.
All right.
But we didn't know when because we didn't get tracking numbers or anything.
Happy wedding.
Oh, my God. What did you do? What did you do?
I bought the thing that makes the most sense to buy between me and you.
Oh! Dude! Thank you!
You're welcome. Happy wedding.
Matt just...
This is the part I did it for.
the Yum Asia Sakura rice cooker with ceramic bowl and advanced fuzzy logic.
You need to tell me what fuzzy logic is when you use this thing. I saw it and I was like, what would be really fun to buy out of all these?
Oh my God. So I put it on there because it's one of those things where it's like, holy shit. Dude, thank you.
No problem. Happy wedding.
Thank you. Because we have a simple rice cooker, the one button, you just push it down and it goes ding.
It's like a ticky thing,
yes.
right? Yeah.
And it dings. But like, I wanted to upgrade it because it'll do so much more, obviously, too. But it also has settings for different types of rice.
There's a setting for yogurt on it that kind of weird, but
it is.
You wanted the black one, right?
Yeah, the one that was listed on there. Yeah.
Okay, well there was.
You just.
I was like, uh-oh.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, it's cool because it's different types of rice, whether it's sushi rice, jasmine rice, long grain rice. I mean, yes, folks, there are different types of rice.
You're fired up for this,
dude. Thank you.
You are very welcome.
You're awesome. I cannot wait for our date day after the stadium series.
I am very excited too. But yeah, I saw this. I was like, in terms of it being a fun bit, that was the one. That had to be. That was
the one. That was definitely the one. That was the one. You're the one.
Though the air fryer, it was between. I was gonna ask you what would you rather like between the air fryer and the rice cooker, and I was like,
right.
Me buying you a rice cooker hits funnier than me buying you an air fryer.
Oh, trust me, when it arrives, I'm taking a picture and I'm making sure you're tagged.
I cannot wait. I'm excited. I would also like to see the first rice you make, even if it's just boring ass regular white rice.
Okay, absolutely.
That's all I ask.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No problem.
So there you go, folks. Matt just bought me a new rice cooker alive. That's so worth it. You just wanted to hear me read.
I'm titling this episode, Matt bought Justin a rice cooker.
You just wanted to hear me read Yum Sakura rice cooker. Yum Asia.
Advanced fuzzy logic.
I know.
Like, could be a rap name.
Oh, God. But it looks stylish, too.
It looks sleek. It does look nice.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I've seen some TikToks on it. That's why I was like, I want a new rice cooker.
I see.
Yeah. So, okay, folks. Well, he's at Best of Matt. I'm at Just Me Bradford. It's Triple P podcast _ Preds Pucks Pinoys. Thanks so much for listening. And next time, I'll have some bling on my thing. I mean, my finger.
And his penis. Bye.
Welcome to the Triple P podcast, Preds, Pucks, Pinoys, hosted by Justin Bradford and Matt Best.